Hello and welcome. I have three different nibs to compare for you today. One is an unadulterated, right out of the box nib, and the other two have been ground by a nibsmith. So this is the Pilot M400 Extra Fine, right out of the box. You can see there's a big chunk, big ball of tipping material right there at the end of the nib. On the right hand side, we now are comparing the custom grind Italic nib, which has had the tipping material ground down with a stone, and in fact the tip of the nib has been reshaped to be more square. On the right side again, this is another custom grind. This one has had the tines narrowed in more, and also the tipping material has been removed so that this puts down a really fine line. Here is the standard Pelikan Extra Fine. It's a very thick line, as you can see, and for my writing, which is very small, it tends to be a little bit too thick, which is why I like having custom grinds on these. This is the cursive italic, which creates some line variation, and you can really see it on those horizontal strokes where it really thins out. The cursive italic lends itself so beautifully to cursive writing, as the name might suggest, but it makes for printing not as inspiring perhaps, or drawing, because of the shape of the nib. Whereas the standard Pelikan nib is really great for print. It's really great for drawing because that tipping material is so round. But I love the cursive italic grind because it enhances your cursive in a way that seems really would be difficult to do, but you don't have to put in any more effort. I don't know if that made any sense, but I have admittedly redone this voiceover so many times. This is when I think I would really benefit from having a script written out, but no, I can't do that. I want to be spontaneous and unprepared. Here are the inks that are in each of these pens, some of my favorite inks. And then a new ink. This is my very first Sailor Studio ink, and I'm so excited about this. I've wanted a Sailor Studio ink for a long time now, but have been overwhelmed by all of the options. And here is the Pilot Custom 823 Fine Nib, which is what I asked Dan over at thenibsmith.com to replicate when grinding the extra fine Pelikan. And he did a great job. I think the line widths are very similar. Keep in mind the writing experience is not the same just because the tipping material has been removed, and so it's not as smooth in writing. And then just real quick here at the end, I wanted to do a little doodling just to kind of show a different way of using these nibs. The extra fine nib would be great for super detailed work, which is not entirely what I'm doing with this example here. So I'm having to do a lot of backfill and create more line variation and go back and thicken up some of those lines where I want them to be thicker. And it takes a little bit more time to fill in the leaves, but I enjoy it. I really love watching fountain pen ink fall on the paper. I love how variable it is and organic. You can't really quite control where the ink is going to pool. It has a mind of its own. And it's so beautiful because it just creates all these shadows and like a new dimension to something that would be otherwise really flat, which is why I'm such a fan of shading inks. Shading inks do that a lot more than a sheening ink or a shimmer ink or a standard ink. Which reminds me, I should do a video on all of that. Here is the extra fine, the standard Unground nib, and this one is especially enjoyable to draw with just because of that really round tipping material on the end, and because it puts down so much ink on the paper it's just really fun to watch and see how the ink pools and dries. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope it was interesting and helpful, and if you have any questions, of course, leave a comment down below, and I will do my best to answer. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next video.